Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video. I'm going to talk about Hasbro going full Microsoft. We're going to talk about their AAA game that's coming out, and I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, this looks like Mass Effect or something. It turns out that we have some former BioWare devs working on this game, but nothing about this says Hasbro, the toy company, to me. It looks like another kind of generic AAA video game, but this is the direction that they're pivoting in. And we did a video the other day talking about how they don't want to make toys anymore. Hasbro's kind of getting out of the toy business, or at least I would say for the general market, they are still catering to collectors, as can be evidenced by these G.I. Joe reveals, these classifieds figures. They will take collector money because they can produce smaller quantities of figures, sell them at a much higher price, and they mostly get gobbled up. Sometimes I've seen some at like Ross Dress for Less or whatever, but Transformers in particular, it seems like they've really cut back on the number that they're doing. And I think someday they'll probably just outsource all this stuff. I'm gonna be honest. I think it'll be like Super 7 or Funko or somebody will make this stuff, and it won't actually be Hasbro anymore. That's just a prediction. But let's talk about what Hasbro really wants to do. Thanks to Chris Cox, who is from Microsoft. He basically wants to turn Hasbro into Microsoft. It's very obvious he wants to turn Hasbro into Microsoft. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, hey, if you get a moment, check out the micro campaign we're doing for some hard enamel pins out on Kickstarter. Last night, I guess I forgot to turn on the ability to back the campaign. It's so weird. I didn't realize. I haven't used Kickstarter in a while, and they have changed things, and apparently you can toggle between being like in demand like they do with IGG, Indiegogo, or just having a regular campaign. And I had it so you wouldn't be able to back anything until after the campaign's over, which I didn't know I did that. I was trying to basically say, hey, after the campaign's over, let people buy pins until they run out. Oopsie doopsie. Anyway, it is up. Check it out. You got a couple of weeks to back this. I'm not sure where we're going to cap it at, what number of pins we're going to cap it at, but these are actually the first product, I guess, from the Nidaria imprint, which is how we're going to publish our stuff going forward. And that is going to be comic books and games and whatever else we think of. But these are based on the Shadowbinders characters from the graphic novel series. We do make pins. We have experience making pins, and we're also doing sticker sets, 16-bit sticker sets. So check those out. Thank you very much for any consideration. So are these G.I. Joes. Okay, these are actually pretty cool. Man, I really like the snake. I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, let's talk about them being a video game company. So apparently they announced this game late last year, and it kind of came and went, and nobody really paid any attention to it because it looks like every other AAA title out there. It definitely gave off Mass Effect vibes, and I forgot it existed. But now it's being brought up again on Cybertron because they're like, yeah, they're basically just becoming Microsoft at this point. So yeah, a couple months ago, Exodus Wizards' big AAA video game Gamble is getting a tabletop RPG, but there's no telling what or how it will play. So they are going to do a tabletop version of it. But the game is actually being done by some BioWare veterans, as I understand it. And I'm looking at the trailer, and the trailer doesn't look terrible. I mean, it really doesn't look bad. But again, this is not what I expect from Hasbro, right? And I'm not sure how this is going to go for them. I mean, this to me just tells me that they're going full Microsoft. They want to be Xbox. And I feel like you're a toy company, stay in your lane. I don't understand why they're letting Chris Cox come in and turn Hasbro into a AAA gaming studio, especially now when AAA gaming is imploding. I mean, this literally is the worst possible time, to pivot your business, in my opinion. And again, the game doesn't look terrible. It really doesn't, but it doesn't say Hasbro to me at all. But I guess they're doing it under Wizards of the Coast. Again, it's just like, what the hell are you? This is McDonald's selling pizza, right? And that didn't last very long. What are you? But yeah, Cybertron picked it up, which is how I remembered, because I'm like, yeah, I don't remember this game. And it's like, oh yeah, that thing. So that's interesting. They said our earlier editorial created a stir in the Transformers community because even though it was just sharing previously known facts, Transformers fans were not in the know of Hasbro's shift in focus. Yet Transformers fans seem to live in a little bubble sometimes, I think. We've been covering it for a while, especially with Dungeons and Dragons. You see it more in the D&D side of things, but it is very, very clear that Hasbro does not want to be a toy company. They are, again, outsourcing more stuff. They got burnt really hard. They got burnt so bad on Disney product, on Marvel and Star Wars, and it's stacked to the ceiling at all these at discount, different clearance stores all over the country, and even on Amazon you can find the stuff cheap. I think if Chris Cox could just push the button tomorrow and end Hasbro as a toy business and turn Hasbro into Xbox 2.0, he would do it. Because that's what he knows. Again, it was a really bad idea to hire this guy. I don't understand what Hasbro was thinking. Like if you're going to hire somebody to run a toy company, for God's sake, hire somebody who likes toys. Hire somebody with knowledge of the toy industry and turn it into the best damn toy company on the planet. They had Brian Goldner before, and he had a lot of faults. I'm going to be honest. Brian Goldner, RIP, he wanted to turn it into a Hollywood studio. Could you just hire somebody that wants to run a toy company? I mean, there are people out there who are totally capable of running a toy company. And I think, probably pivoting things. And I know kids today aren't as into toys and action figures or whatever as they used to be, as our generation was. But, to just torch the whole thing. And they're not even in the same building. We're going to talk about that too. They've left their Pawtucket office. They're moving to Boston, and they've got some medical company moving into the Hasbro HQ. There's nothing left of this company. And I know some other fans were talking about it. I think Rodimus Primal was the one who brought it up, talking about the ship of Theseus. And that has come up again because of WandaVision. And this company is no longer Hasbro. It's been replaced piece by piece. It's no longer Hasbro. They may control the Hasbro IP. They may control Dungeons and Dragons and Transformers and G.I. Joe, but they're not a toy company anymore. I mean, they really are not. And I think they're gonna look at how Power Rangers does, and then they're gonna be like, you know what, we could just offload G.I. Joe and Transformers, and My Little Ponies already with Basic Fun. Like, they're not even making ponies now, I don't think, or if they do, they're just making like the preschool ones. They're not making like the regular line, and they're definitely not making anything new in regards to toys. They're just relying on all these brands they've acquired over the years, and then they're just licensing stuff out. I mean, Ravensburger is making D&D board games now, and as I understand it, that particular game is like Ravensburger's own game, so it's like a D&D flavor of that game. But how long until they just decide we don't want to make tabletop games anymore? Just let somebody else do it. Even though we own Milton Bradley and we own Parker Brothers, just let somebody else do it, right? Anyway, yes, Chris Cox says, going back to the article, by the way, I took the long way around. As Chris Cox says, Hasbro is now a game and toy company, not a toy and game company. No, they're not even a toy company. I don't even think they're going to be a toy company for much longer. And while it was assumed this was about things to come, it turns out Hasbro already revealed their first game to be released. And interestingly, it's not about Transformers or any of the other brands. It is fully new IP. It's from, 2023, but they had a trailer, I guess, was this last November, the trailer? Yeah. But from the responses to the previous article, it seems fans were unaware Hasbro was branching out to this level. Yeah, I actually forgot about it. I knew that it was kind of in the works, but that's so weird because they canceled that one Transformers game that they actually had toys produced for. They canceled that, but they're going to do this. They're going to do another Mass Effect with bears or something, right? They said, while fans were quick to talk about Transformers Reactivate as proof that Hasbro's decision on going all in on video games was a bad strategy, little did they know that it was not a Hasbro game and that Hasbro was already making something of their own. Transformers Reactivate is a terrible example of what Hasbro intends to do. Here's Exodus, their actual game. And I think that is a terrible mistake right now. I think gambling on AAA gaming right now when there's so many games that are failing, they're just landing on their face, I think is a freaking disastrous thing to do for this company. We've seen, I mean, I don't know if this game is going to be quote unquote woke or not, but it is coming from Wizards, so chances are pretty good. If we're being honest, right? But that aside, these games have lost hundreds of millions of dollars for their respective studios, and Hasbro's like, yeah, let's just run headfirst into the wood chipper, right? Everybody else is losing hundreds of millions of dollars, but somehow we'll be the exception, even though we have like zero experience doing this. We'll be the exception. We won't lose our shirts on this, just like we won't lose our shirts making movies. Oh, wait, we did, and we had to sell the movie studio too. You know what I'm saying? Just stay in your lane, man. That's I don't understand. Exodus is made by Hasbro's in-house studio, Archetype, which is a subsidiary of Wizards. What could possibly go wrong? And Exodus is a fully new IP. It's a third-person shooter RPG like Mass Effect. Yes, there it is. This is what you can turn to see what Hasbro is capable of making when it comes to video games. You can check out the gameplay along with the interviews of the heads of Archetype to see what Hasbro's gaming division is all about. I think they're going to fail miserably. I do. I think I'm going to be honest. This is not something that's in their lane, in their wheelhouse. I mean, I do respect the fact that they're basically doing another Mass Effect with BioWare veterans, because God knows BioWare's not in good shape right now. But I think this is an awful decision. And if I were a major shareholder, I would have some serious effing concerns about this. I'd be like, you are Hasbro, the toy company, and we're looking at the market, and all these AAA games are losing hundreds of millions of dollars, and you want to bet the farm on a AAA video game. Are you smoking meth? That would be my reaction. I'd be like, Chris Cox, get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. You're not fit to run a toy company. And we'll get somebody else in there. Why are none of the Hassenfelds, why are they not running the company? Because that's when Hasbro was the best, when the family was actually in charge of it. But, whatever. Yeah, so it's going to come out in either the end of 2025 or 2026. It's a AAA title, so it could be, 2027, 2029, 2032. Who the hell knows? Hasbro's ramping up development on more, with half of their R&D budget going to video games rather than toys. Chris Cox stated he sees digital play being the next stage of Hasbro's brands. We still have no news of a Transformers game from Hasbro. I don't think Devastation is going to be topped. I love that game so much, and you can't buy it anymore. We will keep you up to date on a development. I don't think it's going to go well, guys. I really don't think it's going to go well. But they're going to do a tabletop game too. Maybe they'll outsource that to Ravensburger. Who knows? But here's what's interesting. They are moving out of Hasbro's offices, and we've got Brown University Health moving into Hasbro's building, apparently. Why the Brown University Health moving into the old Hasbro office thing works, according to the Providence Journal. Yeah, they said that Tim Quirk, started in 2023, and one of his first tasks was to figure out what they should do with all their offices, and then Hasbro decided they were going to cut and run and move to Boston. And so, yeah, they're going to move everybody into the Hasbro building. It's over, man. Again, Ship of Theseus. This company is no longer Hasbro. It's a video game company that has the Hasbro IP. It's Embracer. I mean, all these things are failing. That's why I don't understand. All these AAA studios are failing. They're failing. Embracer Group failed. Embracer Group overspent. They bought a whole bunch of IP that they didn't know what to do with. They shut a bunch of studios down. And I'm going to be on. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. I think betting the farm on this is going to be an effing disaster. I mean, there's nothing about this game, from what I can see, that stands out from any other AAA title coming out. It's like, oh yeah, it's a AAA game. It looks very AAA gamey. It's like, is it going to sell well enough to, especially with Wizards being a damaged brand, is it going to sell well enough to justify, dumping half of their R&D into video games? I don't think so. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I don't know what the hell they're doing. Basically, Chris Cox came in. He's doing what he knows, which is video games. Again, he came from Microsoft, so this means AAA games, shitty mobile games, lots of microtransactions, and yeah, just, God, what a one-trick pony. I mean, seriously, what a one-trick pony. You never put somebody that's not familiar with the industry in charge of the industry. Sometimes it leads to innovation, sometimes it leads to destruction. And the only thing he knows how to do is be Microsoft, and that's what he's doing. Anyway, we're not Microsoft. We don't have hundreds of millions of dollars to play with, but check out the Kickstarter, please, if you get a chance. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll talk later.